All right, and we are live. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to my channel of We Love Comics. Starting a little bit late, but I'm sure you don't mind. I already see a bunch of people here already, which to me is a great sign. So welcome one and all. Hopefully you guys are ready to do a quick unboxing. And it is the 6th of August, 2018. It's currently 3:02 p.m. Hello, everybody. And if you watched my live show yesterday, I was talking about a comic I got the other day that I wanted to do an unboxing for you. So I wanted to make sure I did that today. But first I wanted to make sure I didn't get my PGX comics in today, because if I did, I would have done that. It should be the next day or so. The fact that this time of year is Comic-Con, there's going to be a lot more people submitting comics, so there is a little bit of a delay, which is totally understandable. But definitely looking forward to that video, because it will be the first time you will ever see Graders Notes on the back of any slab book. So stay tuned for that. It should be coming sometime this week, and I am very much looking forward to it. So I have technically not a box, but there is a Golden Age comic. Now this is a coverless comic, because I talked about that how I own about 4 or 5 coverless comics, and for the price I paid for this, I didn't want to pass this up. This is a key first appearance for a Golden Age, and I can always try and find a cover and add to it. Now I learned something about that if you add a page or a cover to another book, in other words, if you got a coverless book and you bought a cover from somebody on eBay, for example, or just happened to find another cover or whatever, it's actually considered a married cover or page, depending on what you're adding. So I don't believe that's restoration, but I think it would give a green label. So keep that in mind. But I mean, to me, I'd rather have that than no comic at all, because especially if something is very expensive, you're going to do the best that you can. So like I said, this is a coverless copy, but it is the first appearance, so I wanted to show this. It's a quick little video, so we will do the surprise subscriber shout out. But here is the book. You probably won't be able to tell what it is, but it is a Batman book. This is Batman number 59, which came out in 1950, so this is a Golden Age book. And this is the first appearance of Deadshot. So, to get a first appearance for the price I paid, and just to show, so people can say, you know, never accuse me of, you know, making up stuff, let me show you, because they included a receipt. So let me just cover the seller's address. I don't want to put that out there. But here's the price I paid for the book. Free shipping and handling, and $150, and yeah, it's definitely not Will Smith. So I'm going to be on the lookout for a cover, and I always find that funny. There are people that say, oh, I'd never buy a coverless book, and that's fine, because those people that don't buy them mean that's somebody I don't have to worry about outbidding me. But I've seen people actually buy pages of comics. If you look on eBay, you'll see like Detective Comics 27, Amazing Fantasy 15, Action Comics #1. Well, people will spend literally thousands of dollars on one page. So I would rather have the complete book that just doesn't have the cover over just buying one page. I mean, to me, I think that's crazy. But again, it's something where if it makes you happy, then it doesn't really matter. Like I've said several times, there are some people that just feel it's their need to tell you what's right and wrong with what you do with your money. And, I mean, I'm not going to be buying this book to rip it up into shreds, but even if I wanted to, it's my money, I could do it. That'd be kind of dumb. But don't let other people influence you negatively. Now, you can always take people's advice. You can always get information from people or hear somebody's opinion, even people you may not agree with, because sometimes if you hear an alternative point of view where it is actually a decent argument or counter argument where you can actually learn something, then yeah, sometimes you can get information from an enemy as much as you can from a friend. But if it's somebody telling you how to live your life, unless they're influencing your life, in other words, putting food on your table, or you're married to them, or whatever, take it with a grain of salt. Don't let somebody make you feel foolish for your own decisions. I had to learn that myself, so we all learn from this. So you didn't really miss much, Christian. I'm just showing, I'll show the book again. It's a coverless book. I paid $150 for it. It's Batman number 59, first appearance of Deadshot. This book is a really expensive book with the cover. I'm just going to look on eBay until I find a cover. And if not, I'll get another facsimile cover. And for $150, I got the first appearance of Golden Age Deadshot. So I can't really complain about that. Whether he ends up in one of the movies by himself, who knows? But it's nice to get a first appearance of a Golden Age character that people are very familiar with. And for $150, everything else, as far as I know, is complete. Now, the staples are very rusty. One of the things I've noticed that some people do, and this is basically being very deceitful, is where there are people, and be very careful, that will change the staples. Now, the easiest way to tell is, if you can see, and it'll probably be hard to see these, but these are very rusty. And a lot of times, especially on the inside, you'll see some residue. And Corey, you're amazing. I'm going to say this. Anytime anybody does one of these super chats, I'm going to make sure I automatically read it because it does catch my attention. Corey Maxwell asks a question, how does your wife not get mad at you? Please give me advice on how to get around that. Well, the first thing is to be open and honest and have communication with your spouse. And basically, I mean, I don't drink, I don't do drugs, I don't go to strip clubs, I don't go out partying or clubbing or anything. So, the only time I spend money on something is for these books, and a lot of them are investments. Now, I haven't sold any. I've sold 15 of them in the span of 15, 20 years, but eventually I'll sell them. I mean, I'm not going to take them to my grave. So, I think roughly around when I get to the age of 60, when I still am at the age where I'm young enough to still be able to enjoy life, I think at that point I might start selling them, or, you know, God forbid, knock on wood, there's some kind of financial situation, I can turn around and sell these, and a lot of them I'm going to make good money on. So I think that's one of the reasons why many YouTube channels are afraid to ever mention the prices, because they don't want their spouses to know what they're doing. And that's basically being very dishonest. Now, not only does my wife know about this, she's actually subscribed to my channel and actually will comment from time to time. I'm not going to say who it is because, you know, if my haters want to attack me, that's fine. But I used to have haters attack my wife, and I'm just not going to allow somebody to do that, so I'm not going to say who it is. But it really comes down to being open and honest. If you are doing something behind your spouse's back, then you're being dishonest and you don't have an honest, trustworthy relationship. You know, being trustworthy just doesn't mean you don't sleep with somebody else behind somebody's back. It also means being very open and upfront. So, I've always been open and upfront about it. It's one of the few things that makes me happy. Like I said, I don't drink, I don't do drugs, I don't smoke cigarettes, I don't go to parties, I don't go to clubs, I don't go to strip clubs, I don't do any of that stuff. So, my wife is very appreciative and understanding, and I'm very lucky for that. So, as far as advice to get around it, you don't want to try and get around. You want to be open and upfront. And if you can't do that, then sometimes, you know, you might not have the right partner for you. I mean, it's kind of how it boils down to. I waited until I was 40 years old before I got married. So I wanted to make sure if I was going to marry somebody, it was going to be somebody that I can get along with in every single way. So communication is a big key. And don't work around things. Be open and honest. And you'd be surprised that sometimes people will back your play if you're genuine. So hopefully that's some good advice. But I want to get back to the staples really quick, and then I'll end this video because I don't want it too long. Like I was saying, there are some dishonest people out there that will actually change the staples. Now that is actually considered restoration. You know, pressing and dry cleaning are not, but replacing staples are. And a lot of times they do it because, like I said, I don't think you'll be able to see it, but these are very rusty staples. So they'll take staples from maybe a Silver Age or even another old Golden Age book that isn't worth anything and replace it. Now the way you can tell is, a lot of times, especially with rusty staples, they'll leave a little bit of residue on the paper. And what you can also do is go to the centerfold of the book. open it up, and if you no longer see the same indents of those staples, because, I mean, especially a Golden Age book, you're talking 70, 80 years of a staple being in one position, it's going to leave a little imprint on the comic book. So if they don't do that perfectly exact, you're going to see it. And also, like I said, if it rusts, you know, you ever have something rusty, if you touch it, your fingers get all orangey. Rust is basically a breakdown of the metals, so it's kind of flaky. So if they remove those staples, it's going to leave a little bit of that orangey residue on the bottom of where the staple was. So if you see a shiny, looks like brand new staple, but yet you see rust residue, that means somebody was being dishonest. They actually changed the staples. So be very careful about that. There are a lot of people that justify it by saying, well, if I get away with it, it's okay. And I've seen many people talk about how they send books to CGC, and either they don't notice it or they just look the other way, and they're like, oh, I dodged a bullet. I'm like, no, you're being dishonest, and you should be ashamed of doing stuff like that, because that's what ruins the industry and gives it a black eye. So be very careful about that. But again, if you do your own research and you know what to look for, it reduces the chance of getting burned. And somebody said, SWP Goat says, if you hate this channel, why are you here? I would love to know the answer to that, but they've been stalking me since day one. They never go away. That's why I kind of have fun with them every now and then, because I figure no matter what I do, some of my haters are going to stalk me, so I might as well have fun with it. So I don't know why they don't do it, why they stalk my channel. Maybe they're jealous, I guess, would be the only thing I can answer. But, you know, it is what it is. Huff House Art says, what about adding more staples? Well, again, that's not what would be normally in the book. A book normally either has one staple for some of the Golden Age books, but for the rest, it's 2 staples. So if you see more staples and somebody adds to it, that's considered restoration. So the one thing that most people have to remember is tape is not considered restoration, especially on a Golden Age or Silver Age book. Newer books, I think they might consider it at least qualified, but I've seen blue labels where there was tape on the cover, especially on older books. I think they kind of give a little bit more slack, because back then it was common practice to tape your book. That's why you see a lot of the older books have that. But adding another staple is another form of restoration, because you're using something to damage the book. Because the tape will only damage the book if you peel it off. But if you're putting a staple, you're now pushing holes and damaging the paper itself. So you're technically altering the comic. So it's a little confusing sometimes, but they are a little bit more lenient when it comes to Golden Age books especially. But yeah, be very weary of the books that you get. And if you're one of those people that had that mindset of, oh, well, as long as I get away with it, it's okay, that's not being honest, and you're taking advantage of somebody else who may not know about these things and may find out the hard way one day that the book that they thought they were getting was not as stated. And that's just not a way to run any business or have any part of your life. So that's it. Let me do the surprise subscriber shout out. And since, let's see, Chaos Lord, I'm going to give you the surprise subscriber shout out today because you are a plethora of information. He is always helping me with stuff, maybe if I get wrong or adding additional information. So he is the go-to guy or girl. I don't want to assume that Chaos Lord is a guy, but I'm sure it probably is. But he is definitely the go-to guy for information. So Chaos Lord, the surprise subscriber shout-out is for you. Hopefully you enjoyed this book. Let me know what you think. If you don't like coverless books, that's great for me, because that means I don't have to worry about you outbidding me. And thank you all for listening in. And stay tuned. Sometime this week I will be doing that PGX unboxing where you're going to see the first time you ever see Greatest Notes on the book. So I'm very excited about that. And if you want to use PGX to get the Greatest Notes, you have to be a subscriber to my channel. And you have to add the code We Love Comics Greatest Notes. And it's a trial basis as of now, so they might be changing it around. So even if you don't like what mine look like, or you think it could be improved or whatever, they're just trying to see feedback, and it could change, so who knows. But if you want to do it, it's $5 per book to have them on the books. Now, of course, this is not mandatory. It's voluntary if you want them. So this description will show the link. That's it. Thanks for watching, guys. I always appreciate it. And don't forget, it's not you, it's not I, it's We Love Comics. Thanks for watching, everybody. I really appreciate it. Hope you have a great day.